Ladies and gentlemen, after God knows what, 2 months of inactivity, I'm back at last. And yeah, it's kind of no coincidence that it took me so long because I was in a different country and I don't know, I think the longer I left it, the more kind of just lost sight of what I wanted in a way. And yeah, like we move on, I guess. Like I kind of like the longer I left it, the more I was afraid to start again because I thought I'd lose kind of like I lose like kind of like confidence in speaking and all that. But sometimes you gotta grab life by the horn, and you just kind of go from there. But what do I want to talk about? You see, I kind of already have a topic planned in mind. I was like, you know what, may as well just get talking on the mic and just chat shit because otherwise I'll never do it. You know what I mean? I know there are a minority of people actually do enjoy these podcasts, so I guess I got to provide some entertainment, but I don't know. Maybe in a way, then I feel like podcasting won't really be a thing as much anymore because Ireland's slowly getting out of lockdown and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to say really. Look, I'll play it by ear because probably inevitably we'll go through another lockdown anyway. But what's on my mind? I have written on a piece of paper here, biggest regret, and yeah, I don't know to kind of elaborate on that. I guess like there's I think we're all human to say that we've made plenty of mistakes in our life, like you know big mistakes, little mistakes. I'm sure I make mistakes every day. Like, I'm so clumsy when it comes to certain things. I'm sure like I'm not that much different from people, and I'm sure people make a lot of mistakes like me and mistakes. But I guess like the things that I don't know, like not like I'd say my one of my regrets involves maybe when I was younger, like carrying or caring too much about what I care too much about how I was perceived from people. And to be fair, like this is like very natural to care about what other people think and how you're judged and how you're perceived. And if you were to say you don't care, like you're clearly lying or some sort of like freak to some extent, because we all like within reason we all care about what the people think. Like maybe if you care about what your friends would think or what your family would think, like their opinion does have an input in your way of thinking. And like different people see it like differently on a scale. Like you have people, for example, who just don't give a bollocks about anything and they're unfazed. And you can have people who really, really overthink things and get bothered by things and even undervalue themselves based on others' opinions. And it seems to me that, especially when I was younger, I really cared about the opinions of others, where I was really concerned about my personal image and what other people would think, and within reason, make me really insecure and very unhappy, and like it make me scared of what other people think. And I wasn't much. I wouldn't say I was much of a social recluse, but I was definitely not on my such and such A game, like socially in terms of meeting people, and nowhere like near where I am now today. And this ties into many insecurities and things that we were worried about, especially like with me growing up. I was a small, as a small, skinny. I wouldn't say I was tall. I grew pretty early for my age, but I was very skinny and I was weak, and I wasn't really good at anything that I ever did. So it used to be such an insecurity of mine, and I used to be afraid of like physically challenging myself with other people because I knew that I had such like shit genetics. Like I was never going to prevail. Like take for example, I'd be afraid to have an arm wrestle or tackle someone or like play a physical sport. Well, I know I do boxing, but like that's kind of not all just strength. But like I meant like you say rugby, for example. But because I lacked like self belief and knew deep down that I knew deep down like I didn't have a prayer of winning. Like I suppose I never said this to anyone because it wasn't really a battle excuse and afraid of people seeing how I felt. And like falling from when I was skinny and very little muscle tone, like I always panicked when I was in the changing room or to change with someone to a point where I could wait until I was on my own till I changed. Basically hiding myself in the public. But really in hindsight, like I was just an average, teenager forward slash like young adult who was growing up like, who cares, like at the time it seemed like the worst thing in the world, but it was so hard done by and it used to really bother me about what people might think. And if people were to take people were to take the piss out of me, and it really like bothered me. And if people were like, say, people were taking piss out of me, and it really affected my mental health as a young lad growing up, and I've realised a couple of things. Like, for instance, number one is that no one gives like a shit about what you look like or your insecurity. Like, they might not care about insecurity you have. And let's say, for example, that my biggest insecurity would be my physical appearance, or my height, or my shitty hairline, or my hands as well, the big one, because I have tiny little monkey hands. But I've realized that it's only a problem if you make it a problem. Like, let's say in school, for example, like if I was there hiding my body because I was insecure about it and hiding it whenever I can, that is making like a problem for myself. Like, let's say there is nasty people in the world who say nasty things, but if you show them any kind of weakness, like, they'll pick up on that, and because you're insecure, that is like the easy way to get to you, because like they have this power because you're so scared and nervous with this insecurity. And if you were to show like that weakness, then they're going to pick up on it. And through it all, like, it's going to be something that people use against you, and like you could get grief over like at any point being like in this case being in school or being in college or wherever it is. But obviously at the time I didn't actually realize the hindsight. But right now, like, if I walk into a public gym, like, I wouldn't care if I wore a stringer or an oversized t-shirt or whatever it is. Like, whatever. Like, I know people look at each other and compare themselves to the next person, but I learned to stop caring about how I'm perceived. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but I would deliberately like be like an asshole, not to put on this false imagery, but more so being comfortable in my own skin and being like my true self. And it's really about putting myself in this uncomfortable situation and forcing myself to be uncomfortable and to grow. Like, by doing similar things, like to this, like similar to what I've said over and over again, it becomes to feel natural. Like, apart from loads of other scary things I've done, like, it's conditioned me to not give a bollocks, because like you're putting yourself in the worst case situation, and you're making the worst thing that could happen come true. And basically, the sooner you realize that these fears you worry about are purely like figments of your imagination, and now it's just kind of become one of your it's now like basically one of my better assets. Like, I don't really want to make it all about me, but like another big thing for me was like girls or relationships or whatever it was, and I was like, no one's gonna love me and gonna be alone for the rest of my life. I'm hideous and I'm disgusting, and like, who's gonna want someone who looks like me? And in hindsight, like, it sounds so stupid and like silly, but and it is like, I won't beat around the bush. It is ridiculous. Like, now I'm saying about it here, and I used to have like this like victim mentality where I was so hard done by, and these insecurities going to be laughed at by everybody, and that mindset like alone just literally just that mindset was enough to make that come true. And it was that way of thinking that made it occur. Like, I've been to events, festivals, etc., for example, and wearing nothing but a pair of short shorts, and I still have pretty good success with people. I haven't been like looked at as a freak right now, but you got to realize that people don't care, and like, more than likely, no one's gonna think about you. You're gonna be just forgotten about in a couple of minutes. It's usually how things go. Like, say if I saw someone who, I don't know, had a bionic leg, or obviously people are gonna look, they're curious because it's not really a common thing you see every day. Well, no one's gonna like laugh, or no one cares. I mean, like, the person will be found it within a minute. They're like, oh, I've seen a bionic leg. I mean, just something along them lines. Or if someone was like had an amputated arm or whatever it is, or maybe one eye. But in a way, if you like appreciate yourself to an extent and not take yourself too seriously and look at things as a joke, like being able to look at the situation and being like, okay, it is what it is, rather than moping in self pity, like thinking the universe revolves around you, then I'm gonna laugh at this thing and learn to make a joke about it and learn to look at the bright side and make it a strength rather than a weakness. And you can decide on what you want to do with it. If you cultivate the mindset, the attitude, and the energy, and have the confidence around it, like, you're going to give it this energy where you're taking the piss out of it, and no one can bring you down no matter what it is. And to me, it's empowering because it's like the energy you have is the energy you show. Like, if you're with someone who's negative, like, that negative energy is going to reflect on you, vice versa. The positive is going to be a positive impact on you. And yeah, I think that's kind of enough rambling for now. I kind of just um kind of bits to do for the day. Just thought I'd make it a quick one anyway. Just kind of get the dip the toes into the water again. I wouldn't go. I won't go man making a 30-minute podcast, but I don't know. I think 10 minutes is fine. Yeah, what's that 10 minutes here? But let me know what you think. I'm I don't know. I kind of just I'm so distracted by that kind of life recently, where I'm just like, it is difficult to make a podcast. It is very difficult to make a podcast. Like you have to set up the laptop, you have to like kind of edit it, you have to think what you're going to say, you have to write notes, and then like if I were to get a guest speaker, God forbid, I'd have to kind of like contact them and try to rearrange the time. I'm back to work and I'm looking for work and yada yada yada. That's nothing to me, but it's no, I do enjoy podcasts and I'm going to be more active. Currently finish the course in nutrition and I've finished the course in PTing, so I'm going to try to implement them as well while looking for another job. But yeah, a lot more to come anyway. Like I'm definitely a lot more back to my old self because when I was like away, I wasn't really feeling my good habits. But now I'm back to normal now and kind of ready to go again. But yeah, thanks for listening. Sorry to hear me whine and ramble for the last 10 minutes, but hope you enjoy it and talk to you soon.